Good morning, my dear subscribers. You're welcome to Sunlight Grant channel, where we give you the latest of the UAAG disbursement funding. In case you're new on my channel, please don't forget to click on the notification bell and subscribe. In case we drop new videos, you'll be highly updated.
Analytical, and enlightening content. Disbursement is finally here with us. The signs are glaring everywhere. It's likened to 9 months pregnancy. Despite how the mother attempts to hide or sew a plus-size gown to cover the bump, or despite how she attempts to tighten her stomach, in moments where she unconsciously makes a call and release or relax herself, the bump will be glaringly seen by all. It's a moment of excitement and jubilation in the grant ecosystem, not moments or times of anxiety or fear. Disbursement is here. In today's session, we will look at those trending concepts in the grant ecosystem towards disbursement. We'll look at the factor of the entitlement of beneficiaries, the grant handlers that are going to disburse the grants. Then we'll look at specific dates which disbursement is going to take place. At least for once, the NGO CEOs, bundle heads, and beneficiaries will move on with their life and start making meaningful and productive impact in our society. Let's get straight to the first concept of this session, which is the concept of the NGOs or grant handlers going to disburse these grants to the masses. Yes, you might have heard a few days ago, representative of the Supreme family came on and said they are disbursing on Tuesday or Wednesday, second week of December. This week we are already in. While the new man of Theobarth Global Foundation came on to assure the masses that disbursement is taking place in this same December we are in. Other grant handlers like UAAG, AGPGN, Supreme, St. Rita, EPIC, SEM, and the rest are equally assuring the masses that disbursement is going to take place before the 15th and 16th of December 2024. The fact is, disbursement is going to be like the kingdom of heaven. Yes, you know the story in Matthew chapter 25, verse 1 to 13, where Jesus Christ, in analogy, likened it to 10 virgins and the bridegroom. In the story, 10 virgins took their lamps and went out to meet with the bridegroom. 5 of the virgins were wise, while 5 were foolish. The wise 5 took extra oil in a jar alongside with them, while the foolish 5 took no oil except the one in their lamp. The bridegroom delayed coming to the wedding feast. At a time in the middle of the night, they all fell drowsy and fell asleep. And suddenly there was a loud cry, "Behold the bridegroom! Come out and meet him." All the 10 virgins got up and turned on their lamp. But the foolish 5 said to the wise 5, "Please give us your oil. Our lamp is about going out." And replied the wise 5 virgins, "No, for there may be not enough for you and us. Instead, go out and buy from the oil merchant." Then the foolish 5 hurriedly went out to buy the oil. The wise 5 went into the wedding feast, and the door was locked. When the foolish 5 returned and cried, "Lord, Lord, please open the door for us," and the bridegroom replies, "Amen. For I say unto you, I do not know you." Disbursement will be like the kingdom of heaven. Not all grant handlers will receive or disburse to the masses. Success happens when preparation meets opportunity. And it is written, "For God has not called us for impurity, but in holiness." Before disbursement, a scroll shall be opened, and every grant handler shall be judged according to what they have done to the masses. Yes, UAAG will disburse. Supreme, St. Rita, EPIC, AGPGN, Theobarth, SEM, will disburse. But before disbursement, a scroll will be flipped open, and every grant handler shall be judged according to what they have done to the masses. I know the next phrase in the minds of everyone right now is, "He without sin shall cast the first stone." However, disbursement is already here. The scroll have already been flipped open. Judgment is completed. Blessed are those who are pure in spirit, for they have seen God. It's disturbing to realize that if this money was to be given to some grant handlers, so many NGO CEOs will never see a lot. In between this period of delay, where the masses were questioning why there is delay in disbursement, your grant handler was investigated. Most of these grant handlers introduce NGOs that have not paid the dues in this ecosystem. They registered ghost cooperatives and organizations and replaced with the NGO CEOs that have legally, officially subscribed to this grant. And if disbursement was to be approved all this while for them to disburse the money to the masses, so many NGOs, so many cooperative presidents will never see disbursement. Imagine a scenario where a grant handler have over 200, 300, 500 ghost NGOs where he used names of their community people in proxy to fit in to the schedule for disbursement, with the plan that when this money is received, they will now disburse through those cooperatives to NGOs of their likes, of their choice. Perhaps those cooperative NGOs who have not attacked them, or those who have made heavy commitment financially to their activities. So those who made no strong financial commitment will never see disbursement. That's the unfortunate route that most of these heartless grant handlers wanted to toe. And just a few weeks ago, you are aware of how some grant handler want to disburse only to certain super coordinators or coordinators. What about the beneficiaries or bundle heads? As if this country is not hard for everyone, just as it is to the super coordinators. Thank God, God is still God. He said, "I will turn the counsel of Ahithophel to foolishness." God is God. Sometimes we don't know. Delay is a blessing in disguise. Meanwhile, few hours ago, the presidents of the Federation have a closed-door meeting with some grant authorities and direct them to ensure this money is disbursed to all the poorest of the poor Nigerians. The money should go around all the families that are poor, because the volume of this grant is quite huge. Even if every Nigerian should receive 500,000 naira or more, it's available. However, the president is into this. Money will circulate to all poor masses who have subscribed. Be rest assured. In between those period of delays, machineries, structures, security architectures have been installed to monitor and checkmate the process. Any NGO who wants to take away, any NGO who wants to travel out of the country, who will not disburse to the masses, is on his own. EFCC is there. Travel beyond the shores. Interpol is already waiting for you. So the advice is, every NGO, as you receive the money, disburse to the masses. Bless the families around. Bless all the beneficiaries who subscribe through you. If you are meant to be rich, even if you have 10 million, 20 million left over for you, you can multiply and become generationally rich, wealthy with it. If you are not meant to be rich, if you like, return 100 million, 300 million, even 500 million sent to you, if it will reach that volume. If you are not meant to be rich, you will not still be rich, even with the high volume of millions in your account. And richness, as you already know, is counted not by the volume of money in your bank account, but by the number of those whose life you have impacted, whose life you have elevated, whose table you place food upon, and by the number of helpless and struggling poor citizens of our society whom you have raised from dust to glory. And may God bless all NGOs who will seize this God's blessing to bequeath legacies that will resonate far deeper into the generations. Let's consider the concept of the entitlement of beneficiaries during disbursement. As I've already said, it's no more a factor of if disbursement is going to take place this December or not. It's about how much you are expecting to receive as a beneficiary or NGO CEOs during disbursement. You might have heard the circulating news around. St. Rita promises the sum of 5 million naira to her beneficiaries. SAME promises 1.8 million or 10 million to beneficiaries, while UAAG promises 2.5 million or 3 million for beneficiaries. AGPGN promises between 50,000 and 300,000 per beneficiaries. Theobarth Global Foundation, 1.8 million naira for beneficiaries. One quick question anyone want to ask at the moment is, why are all the grant handlers projecting disbursing on December? Sometimes you can't help but imagine the possibility of this hilarious sum tickling down to the pocket or the bank account of the beneficiaries. However, anything is possible. But it's important, it's good for the masses to keep their expectation minimal. Minimal in the sense that those that come with hilarious promises of million billions should be kept at a certain reach. Be mindful of those grant handlers promising you hilarious sum of money. Build your mind around those that exist in the sketch of reality. What I keep telling my friends is, it's better to keep your expectation minimal and end up being surprised with hilarious sum than expecting an hilarious sum but end up receiving a minimal value. Frustration and disappointment set in. However, we are here for the money and it's coming shortly. Few hours ago, Honorable Farouk Dengi came out again with his suicidal voice notes. And those sorts of voice notes is like spider web. It catch nothing but flies. It's taken seriously by the feeble-minded, by the weaker-minded. But Mr. Farouk doesn't know that he's sending a lot of people to untimely grave. He's killing a lot of people, those with fragile hearts, those that lacks information of realities happening. But I'm here to inform those who might have been disturbed by Mr. Farouk's voice notes that Mr. Farouk is lacking information. He has long been phased out of the scheme of things in the grant ecosystem. Like I've said earlier, Mr. Farouk was relevant during the 2023 era where they arrested Theophilus. And immediately after, he bailed Apostle Ken Wakama using his connections and moved on to the villa to find out if there's disbursement. And those that did not have adequate information of disbursement told them, alongside other AGPGN and UAAG representatives, that there's no money anywhere. He retired back to his community in Katsina. Now he's resurrecting back to the ecosystem at a period where every activity of disbursement, all discovery of documents and the fund has been cleared, approved for disbursement. Just like someone suddenly waking up at 1 p.m. noon, and he expects grant handlers to inform him that there is money. And he expects those he is accusing to tell him, yes, Mr. Farouk, we have money. This is the source of the money. Have they forgotten that the entire activities of these grants have been shrouded in secrecy since the past decade? It is the same grants that Telpocon, Theobarth, SAME, UAAG came out to disburse, but they couldn't discover or crack the mystery surrounding the grant itself until our time. So he expects them, after cracking this mystery, to come and tell him, oh, Mr. Farouk, this is where we discovered the document. Mr. Farouk, this is the money. This is the source of our money. Which of the governmental activity that we know is kept very open to the knowledge of the masses? You only witness the scheme being executed in the public space, never the planning or the administrative process surrounding the activity. Or he expects them to inform him, this is the money and this is the account it is, this is the source, so that he will go and kidnap them. Which grant handler will inform the masses of his source of